So the hardest news that I received this week, which I think I mentioned in my previous video, was the fact that I was going to need chemotherapy, and this chemotherapy will end up harming my fertility. I am 37, so I'm kind of nearing the age of my fertile years to begin with. I'd also had chemotherapy as a child, which I learned probably shortened the life of my eggs as well. So having had the previous chemotherapy, it already has shortened the life of my eggs. Adding in this second one will definitely, just as the doctor who I met with, the fertility doctor, said, just kind of tank them off. So that's where the fertility doctor comes in. I ended up seeing her on Tuesday this last week, and we had a good consult. She went over everything with me. One of my main concerns about doing an egg retrieval and being hormone receptor positive, my tumors, and what that means is that estrogen and progesterone help help my breast tumors to grow. And in order to do egg retrieval, you have to do shots and pump yourself full of hormones. So I was concerned how that might affect my tumors. And I had done some research online, and I couldn't find anything to how they combat that or how they allow these cancer patients that are hormone receptor positive to do egg retrieval safely. And she put me at ease and told me that there was this drug called, it's called letrozole. And I don't exactly know the chemistry behind it or the way it works, but it essentially is going to help suppress the estrogen in my body these next 10 days, while I am also giving myself shots and increasing the hormones. So that was good to know, and that was one thing that put me at ease. I was super nervous about doing this, knowing that I was going to be putting a lot of hormones in my body. So that was good information to know. She also did an ultrasound that day. I only have one ovary. I lost an ovary with my previous cancer at age 12. So she did an ultrasound of the one ovary just to see how many follicles were in there, and she counted probably close to 10, which she said was a good amount, and that I looked like a good candidate to be doing this at this time. The thing about doing egg retrieval before cancer treatments is you don't have a lot of time. You're given a couple weeks and they want to start you on the chemo, so you're kind of rushed into, I think, what they call like a crash cycle. They just kind of like crash your cycle wherever you are in your month of your cycle, and try to stimulate those follicles, eggs, to grow so that they can be retrieved within like 10 days. So I think that's one of the most stressful parts about this, is just the rush and the timeline that we're on. I can see how egg retrieval, IVF, and anything else related to what I'm doing can be stressful on its own enough, but with a cancer diagnosis on top of it, and then the timing of having to rush everything, it's been quite a stressful week. So that was Tuesday. Thursday I went to my oncologist to get the okay that it would be okay for me to do this and to delay starting chemo a week or two. He was fine with that. Like I'd mentioned before, we talked a little bit about different chemo options. We needed to investigate what I've had before we came up with a current plan. So once I got the okay from him, I sent in some paperwork to Livestrong to be able to qualify for some drugs that they send out that I'm going to need, the shots, and the Livestrong Foundation is able to do that free of charge, as well as a program through Walgreens called Heartbeat. And so between the two of those programs, I was able to get all the medicines, shots, drugs I'll need to be on these next 10 days for the egg retrieval. So I'm very grateful and thankful for that, because my insurance is not covering this, and so any little help I can get is amazing. And if there's anyone out there that does have questions about like the pricing and what this is going to cost me out of pocket, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to share what it is here and those numbers that I'm paying here to do that with. So once I got all that paperwork, I got an appointment for Friday. Went back at the fertility doctor. They did a baseline ultrasound to see where I was starting at, so they can measure the follicles and see how many there are, and so how they'll grow and such. I also had some baseline blood work, and then I had education about how to administer the different drugs. They gave me a calendar that's got like the drugs to give every day, what day I come in for ultrasounds, blood work, etc. It's a little overwhelming. They did have some instructional videos online, and I think the reason why it's overwhelming is not necessarily having to give the shot. I'm okay with that. It's like having to reconstitute and mix everything. You don't just get a vial with a needle and you say, put this in here in your stomach. You've got to remember like how much to draw up of this, how much to push into this one. You've got 3 little vials over here of this. And so before you're even pushing the shots in, you're having to know like what goes with what. And I use this for this, and this needle goes here, and this little cap goes here. So I've done it for 2 days now, and I've been fine. Tomorrow I'll go in for some more blood work, and they're going to do an ultrasound. They saw a polyp in my uterus, so they're just going to go in and look at that. They said usually those are pretty benign and harmless, but because I'm in the office and having ultrasounds anyways, that they would go in and do that, look at that, and if necessary maybe take a biopsy of it just to be extra careful because of everything that's going on. So according to my calendar, it looks like I'll be on these shots and medications for about 10-ish days, if it all goes according to plan and cycle, and then I'll wait a couple days and do egg retrieval, possibly in the next week and a half. So that is the plan right now. Like I said, it was super stressful on Friday. They were able to give me some drugs that they had in office to start for this weekend, but I had to make sure I was going to get Saturday delivery for everything else. And I was working with East Coast time constraints, which made Friday morning very stressful. Calling to get everything scheduled and done. One of my most stressful days, definitely, of the week. But I got through it, and I've done 2 days of shots, so 2 down, 8 to go. I've got this. Like I said before, it's a little stressful just on its own, thinking that, okay, once I get through this, then chemo starting. This is just part of it. This is the first thing I'm getting through. Then there will be the next thing. So I'm just trying to take it one day at a time right now and not think about the entire picture because that can be overwhelming. But right now, the next week and a half is dedicated to the egg retrieval. So that is what I'm focusing on right now, and not getting caught up in the months of chemotherapy and the surgeries to follow that and the possible radiation. It's just one step at a time here. And I just have to, again, remind myself and look at all the blessings that I've received just in this last month since my diagnosis. I know the Lord hasn't forgotten about me. You know, the last 2 years in my life have definitely been some of the hardest years, and I really thought I was coming to an end and it was over. But it's not. I'm still going. I've still got some more things to fight and to work through, and that's okay because He's with me and He's by my side, and I can receive that comfort and peace when I need it on those days where I'm overwhelmed. I can have that by praying to Him for that. And I've felt that. There have been times where I have been extremely overwhelmed for just even an hour or two of a day. And then I can pray, and I can exercise, and I can talk to myself, and I can put everything in perspective and know that I can keep going on. And so that is what I'm working on every day, just dealing with the day, putting it into perspective, praying for that peace and comfort, just to have that through the day, and to not have fear in all of this, and to have faith and hope through this all, even though this can be very dreary, scary, fearful. And I've got so many amazing family and friends that have just been there for me, like when I just needed to call and cry or just talk. And I don't think the timing of this was at all a coincidence, but about a week before my diagnosis, I met a really amazing guy. And we started getting to know each other and dating and such. And then came the cancer diagnosis, and it didn't scare him at all. He said, you know, let's just keep getting to know each other and see where things go with this. And he has been, besides my friends and family, one of the biggest blessings in my life. This last month with his diagnosis, he's been so loving, caring, compassionate, and we're just in the beginning stages of a relationship and getting to know one another, and he's been there for me every step of the way. Cried to him I don't know how many times. Put up with my anxiety with all this and through this, and I know the Lord's blessed him into my life right now. He put him into my life right now for a reason, to help me through this, and I'm so thankful every day for him, and so thankful for all the other many blessings that I'm receiving right now through this. I will keep you guys updated with how the shots and everything are going and the ultrasound this next week. One other big thing I have this upcoming week, besides just all the shots and ultrasounds, is Wednesday I'm going in for surgery to receive my portacath, which is what they'll do the chemo through. And also they're going to do a sentinel node biopsy on the left to see if there's any node involvement, which will be good because that will further help to stage me and also help in my planning for my treatment. So that's just like a same-day surgery in and out, but I'll still be put under and need a ride to the hospital. So that is Wednesday in the middle of all the shots and ultrasounds and everything else. So like I said, it just, cancer with doing egg retrieval just complicates things even more. I've got like appointments almost every day this week for different things, but that's those are the things going on this week: shots and ultrasounds and blood work for egg retrieval and portacath and sentinel node biopsy on Wednesday. So I've got a busy week. I will keep you guys updated and talk with you soon. Bye.